All right, what is up? We are live, of course. The big story today is Homestead, Miami, officially announced as the 2026 destination for the NASCAR championship race. Ben Kennedy said a few interesting things here. He said this has been coming for a while. It's been since 2019 since we've had the championship race at Homestead. We moved it out to Phoenix for the past several years, which has been great for us market. We've seen some great racing there. We've crowned some of our biggest champions, but we're excited to go to Homestead, Miami. I can tell you from a few people that I've talked to so far across the industry through our partners, they're over the moon about it. And our fans, it's the number one asked about championship venue as well. This, of course, from nascar.com, Zach Albert. On the story here. So, this is one that fans have asked for a long time. Homestead, Phoenix, Miami is one track where you've got a lot of grooves. You can go a lot of different places. The racing there is good. This particular car races better right now at mile and a half type tracks. So that's going to benefit it there as well. So it's just been a super popular deal. It's a good climate for November as far as that goes, as was Phoenix. To be fair, he did go on to say, however, that uh, Phoenix would stay in the championship rotation, and that is something that has been sort of scrutinized, analyzed, whatever you want to say. What does he mean about championship rotation? So, does that mean the final race is going to keep rotating, or what does that mean? And that is the poll question today. If the final race does keep rotating, who do you think that race will go to? Now, I did this on purpose. The way that it is basically set up here, these are all, of course. Let's see, what are they? Let's see. These are all Speedway motorsports tracks that I'm listing here because I think eventually, if you rotate this enough, you're going to have to take some of the ISC tracks out of this and give the championship race to one of the Speedway tracks. So that's why I listed these ones: Vegas, Atlanta, Texas, or Bristol. Now, factor in the November weather for those races as well. We just saw a race at Texas that was overall liked, I think, except some people didn't like that Joey Logano won it. So there you go. Those are the options for that, but certainly a popular thing. And I think rotating the final race is going to be helpful because there's a lot of people that are super concerned that we might get another Penske championship because Penske is so dominant at Phoenix. And they think if you keep racing at Homestead, Miami, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh, we're just going to watch Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson go for the championship every single year in the Final Four because they're really good at Phoenix. So I think a rotation of the final race would be a good thing. Now, he was very vague about the rotation. He just said keep it in the championship rotation. He could be talking about the final 10 races in the playoffs or anything as far as that goes. But I did think it was an interesting thing to address and just an interesting perspective on it for sure. But it's so far a pretty popular move. How long they keep it in Homestead, what other tracks it would go to, what the timeline of that rotation would be. There's just so many questions out there yet to be unanswered about it, but it is overall a popular thing. And I think a lot of people are celebrating it today. That this, of course, going back to Homestead, Miami, just overall good thing. The other big news today is that NASCAR Rumors Nostalgia, I think I saw a story from Breakhard on it, has reported that basically pretty much everybody is sort of going along with this, that Chevrolet is not going to introduce a new car, but they will update the current body of the Camaro. Now, a lot of people have some thoughts on this. There is one school of thought that they think Chevrolet is just going to hack this and go as extreme as they can possibly go, and they're basically going to, in their opinion, cheat up the rules to as much as they can to just make this perfect race car body, if you will, since it doesn't have to be based on a production model car. Then there's another school of thought that the other OEMs are not going to let Chevrolet just cheat up the body as far as they want to. But it's an interesting thing, and the reason that NASCAR, I think, is going to let Chevrolet be lenient on Chevrolet for this is because they need as many manufacturers in NASCAR as possible. They don't want to lose Chevrolet. Chevrolet certainly doesn't want to lose NASCAR. Although Chevrolet doesn't have a car anymore, the Malibu's dead. Every car that the Camaro's dead. Every car that Chevrolet has is gone. So they have to do something here to stay in this market because Chevrolet still does sell SUVs. You can't really race an SUV. They do still sell trucks. You can race trucks in the truck series, but not in the Cup series. So you have to have some type of presence there. And what this could mean for the future is other manufacturers, if they don't have a car or whatever, could get into NASCAR because of this. Now that this is basically going to be the loophole. Does Chevrolet make a car, a race car, and then try to make a production car, just enough production cars to have a race car? We saw that in the 60s with Dodge. Dodge made the Superbird, and they made just enough Superbirds to have a race car of it. So maybe that is a direction that Chevrolet could go as far as that goes. So there's all kinds of different angles to this. But overall, we're going to see basically, I think, a more trimmed up Camaro for racing or whatever. Maybe they take some aspects of the Mustang and put it on that Camaro. Maybe they take some of the aspects they like about the new Camry and put that on the Camaro. So all kinds of things, I think, that can go on there and things that you can do there for the Chevrolet, but it's going to open up another loophole or a wormhole for for people to talk about it, that it's unfair. As soon as Chevrolet starts winning with that car, there's going to be those people that are out there saying, which, fair enough, that it's an unfair advantage for Chevrolet to just design a race car. And then there's going to be, there's just going to be all kinds of stuff that goes along with it. So just an interesting situation as far as that goes. And the other big story today is that TNT Sports has announced their broadcast team for the in-season challenge. It includes Adam Alexander as the lead commentator. You know what you're getting there. He's a veteran. He's been doing it for a long period of time. Really good. A veteran at that as well. And joining him for color is going to be Steve Letarte and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Very familiar booth as far as that goes. So Adam Alexander taking the Rick Allen role, and then you got Dale Jr. and Steve Letarte returning to their roles that they had on that NBC broadcast team. So very familiar team there. Your pit reporters are going to be Marty Snyder, another veteran. You know what you're getting there. Daniel Trotta and Alan Cavana, both of those are veterans as well. So all three of those veteran reporters. And then you're going to get pre and post race studio coverage with Shannon Spake, Jamie McMurray, and Parker Kligerman. So there you go. Shannon Spake going to be on TNT. Jamie McMurray joining the TNT crew, and Parker Kligerman for an alternate viewing experience on True TV, hosted by Larry McReynolds and Jeff Burton. So you're basically the Peyton Manning cast. If you're familiar with football, the Manning cast and things like that. That is essentially what TNT is going to do with NASCAR coverage. So very clever move there, I think, from TNT, and I like the move. So you're going to have two different angles to sort of go over it if you prefer one announced team or the other. So that'll be on True TV. The other one will be on regular TNT. So big news as far as that goes. And now let's jump into the comments section and see what you guys want to talk about. Let's see. Homestead Miami back as for even the finale, even for 1 year, is great. Back to Homestead, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, I think it'll be there for more than 1 year. Seems to be very popular. So we'll see what comes of it. They'll probably do it for at least 3 years. I'm thinking maybe every 3 years they rotate it. That would seem to make sense. Where they take it to next, as far as that goes, you've got these tracks that are basically owned by NASCAR, International Speedway Corporation, which is owned by NASCAR. You've got Auto Club, which doesn't exist anymore. But the interesting aspect of Auto Club is if you build Auto Club, you could basically force attendance there for a 3-year rotation to sort of get some of your money back on it. If they do build the short track there and make that the finale, that would be one angle to get Auto Club built. As far as that goes, you got Chicagoland. That is basically not in operational shape right now, but they could easily get it back. Darlington, also owned by ISC. Daytona, that would be a disaster for a championship finale. People would not like that. Homestead Miami, which is where they're at. Kansas would be one that you could basically go to. I don't know about the weather in November in Kansas, though, so I don't know if that would fly. Martinsville, that would be tricky, too, because you're sort of in the mountains of Virginia there in the winter. Let's see, Michigan International Speedway. I'm thinking weather would be an issue there in November as well. You got Nazareth in Pennsylvania, Phoenix Raceway, which they just came from, Pikes Peak. I don't know if that one is up to snuff as far as that goes. Then you've got Richmond. Richmond, you could probably get away with in November. Rockingham, maybe that's why Rockingham is newly revamped. Maybe Rockingham in 3 or 4 years, if everything goes well, maybe that's where the finale is at. Then you got Talladega. and Watkins Glen. I don't think either one of those are going to get the finale. And that's why the poll question is what it is, because I think eventually you're going to have to share some of the wealth here with your other track partner. And their tracks include Atlanta Motor Speedway, Bristol, Charlotte. So Charlotte, I think you can get away with there. Atlanta, definitely, I think you can get away with in November. Then you got Dover, Kentucky, Las Vegas, Nashville, New Hampshire, North Wilkesboro, Sonoma, and Texas. So there you go. That is why I put the option up the way I did. And let's continue on with the chat here. Penske may do a repeat. Joey won, and many do a repeat. So a week is good, says Jamie Schweitzer. So there you go. That's another issue for sure. If you just keep it at Phoenix, which they have moved on, but does Joey get the repeat at Phoenix for this season? Already locked into the playoffs now, so that could be a factor. And does the same thing play out if you do it for 3 years in Homestead? Could you see another team figure out Homestead, and does that team repeat for 3? An interesting turn of events as well. Dirty Def saying Justin Marks was on with Dave Moody earlier, and it sounds like Trackhouse is doing a deep dive to find out how to bring faster cars to the racetrack. Doesn't sound like a quick fix at all. So far, Ross Chastain has been the bright spot there for Trackhouse this season. But even with him grinding out these good finishes that he's been getting, the raw speed hasn't been there for that car. And it looks like Trackhouse is basically acknowledging that now. And why that raw speed is gone is anybody's guess. And I guess that they know better than we do, but they're trying to get to the bottom of it. But like Dirty Def said, they're doing a deep dive to sort of figure out what's going on over there. So it'll be interesting what they find, if they find anything, and can get those cars some more speed. And like I've been saying for a long time, it's not necessarily SVG. It's not necessarily all on him for having a bad rookie campaign. Some of it is on Trackhouse. Let's see. What's up in between the lanes? Always good to see you on here, my friend. Let's see. I haven't heard rumors or any updates or improvements to Homestead recently. Is there plans of upgrades or new seating being added? Says Jamie Schweitzer. That's a good question. I know they're going to add some more paints. I think Santa Cruz is the man that runs it now. He was talking about adding more paint. Yeah, Santa Cruz is the last name of the guy who's in charge of Homestead right now. But they're definitely going to do some upgrades for sure. That was definitely mentioned in it. There will be a renovation, and he said it's definitely at least going to get some more paint and some more amenities. So expect it to look a lot nicer than it currently looks now, and it's already a nice experience from what everybody that has attended that race has said. So it's going to be it's definitely getting a revamp. How much gets done, that is anybody's guess. OJ and Toothpaste, what's up, my friend? Good to see you on here. And OJ saying what's up to everyone. Green on the air. Let's go, says Jamie Schweitzer. Jamie Schweitzer, what's up, my friend? Driving down the road allegedly. So glad you could join us as well. So Chevrolet is updating a car that no longer exists. I guess NASCAR is doing away with the homologation rules, says Sinister Grin. Yeah, that's a great point. Like, I'm with you. I've been, when I was growing up, I was a Chevrolet guy, but it is definitely fair enough that, hey, what's the rules here as far as, what can be done to the cars and stuff like that. So going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, what gray areas it opens up for other teams as far as that goes. If you leave the loophole up big enough, we get back to the Twisted Sister era of the bodies and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's definitely going to be a can of worms here if that's exactly what goes down. Of course, that's just a rumor right now from NASCAR Rumor Nostalgia, but there seem to be a lot of people that are verifying it. So we will see how it all plays out. I think Homestead is a good track, but I'm not in favor of having the championship race there. Only go there once, and broadcast will only focus on 4 cars, and we'll miss battles throughout the field, says Dirty Def. Yeah, that's the problem with the championship race period as far as that goes. So I don't know. I don't know how you really get away from that as far as that goes. So going to be interesting to see what the rotation is, how often they go to different tracks, and is the coverage ever going to not focus on the final 4 drivers? So that's those are all fair questions. Camaro saying, what's up to everyone? Joey won his first championship while winning Homestead in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Men Cup. So he could continue to win championships. Wise Guy saying, what's up? What's up, Wise Guy? Always good to see you on here. as well. Let's see. Starting the live stream off Denny Hamlin style for sure. Says in between the lanes. TNT has their broadcast team set for 5 races, not the same pre-race as Prime. Says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, definitely a different, definitely a different set. But TNT definitely has basically the NBC feel to it, having Steve Letarte and Dale Jr. back in there as well. Not the same pit reporters either. Yeah, it's definitely a different mix. Prime has theirs, but some of them do overlap. BB, what do you think about the Allgaier getting hate for being too easy on Chris Wright? I think he's just being a veteran. Like, he knows Chris Wright wasn't necessarily doing too much of that. So on purpose, it was just kind of a racing deal. Chris Wright was just way slower, and Justin Allgaier caught him. Look, we've seen Chris Wright do far more egregious things than this. So I don't understand the hate for it. I think Justin Allgaier is being diplomatic as usual. Dirty Duff saying sweet Dega hat. Appreciate it, my friend. It is a nice hat for sure. Props to KFB and Bad Brad and Bad Block Brad for back to Homestead part whatever. That was amazing, says Napa Race Fan. Talking about the commercial for sure, doing a Back to the Future spoof to bring back Homestead Miami. Let's see. Lane saying he saw that on the gram, Napa. Let's see. Good evening, BB, says PC Gone Rogue. Good evening, PC Gone Rogue. BB, did you know Rowdy Bush is not a fan of slow speed zones and uses the law offices of Morgan and Morgan? Indeed, he does. Morgan and Morgan, a strong sponsor there for the number 8 car. I saw it on NASCAR's YouTube channel. It was hilarious, especially will Denny win a championship, and will we have to stop Logano winning championships, says Napa Racing Fan. That's interesting. No Jamie Little, says one wise guy. Yeah, I think she's still just with Fox, so maybe that was a choice by her, or maybe not. I thought Prime and TNT would be the same lineup. Guess not. Other than the race booth, says Napa Race Fan. Yeah, it's not going to be the exact same lineup. A few differences here and there, but they do have some that they do share betwixt each other. That is for sure. Who do you think will win the championship in Cup and Xfinity and trucks right now? Says OJ and Toothpaste. I don't know. That's such a toss up. I don't really focus on that as much. I don't know. It could be anybody in trucks, really. Like Lane Riggs has had speed, but he hasn't had the finishes he wants. Thor Sports always has good stuff going on, but when it comes to truck series, I always got to lean toward Corey Heim. He doesn't have one yet, but I feel like he's been the best truck driver overall for many years over there. So Corey Heim is always going to get my vote as far as that goes. Let's see here. Xfinity, Justin Allgaier has looked like he could literally almost win every single race, so I would have to lean toward him as far as that goes. OJ, for sure. Chastain calling the watermelon out Trackhouse, saying none of their drivers are confident in their cars heading to the track. Yikes, says Napa Racing Fan. Well, apparently him speaking up got some results, because Justin Marks saying they're doing a deep dive to find that speed for sure. Let's see. The world's most important question: will Denny Hamlin win a championship? Just how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop, says in between lanes. Championship in New Smyrna, Florida, says Perry Earl. Maybe do it like World Series of late models or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. They're acting like it's going to be rotated on a year-to-year basis. I assume, like UBB, they would do it in 3-year intervals like they do with a lot of other things. Says they're deaf. Yeah, I think 3 years makes more sense as far as that goes, because you got to get so much in line with the county and state and all that as far as permits and stuff like that. So I think a 3-year contract would be better, because they could get all that stuff lined up. But that's just my thoughts on it. Who knows? Like, NASCAR is doing what they want to do right now. Hot take, maybe Spire is slowly becoming the second best Chevy team. RCR will stay the third best as always. Trackhouse/Colleague will move on to a new OEM in a few years, says Napa Racing Fan. I think you're onto something as far as that goes. I think part of the reason that they have been a little bit off could be the same reason Legacy was a little bit off. A couple years ago when they were switching from Chevy to Toyota, and maybe they're going to be a Dodge or Honda team if one of those manufacturers OEMs comes in. So you never know. You never know what's really going on behind the scenes, and all the positioning and posturing. Trackhouse has had a lot of turnover over there for them, so that would also sort of lean in with that as well. So I think that's definitely an interesting perspective, and I think It could happen for sure. I don't know anything. Of course, it's just speculation as far as that goes, but it's definitely something I could see happening for sure. And it would explain, sort of the current lack of performance over there at Trackhouse. How appropriate the announcement of Homestead Miami Speedway being returned as the championship race on the exact same day as the trailer for GTA 6. So there you go, GTA 6 pushed back yet again, but it does now at least have a release date. Will they make it on the release date this time? So we will see. Napa Racing fan laughing. So there you go. We're going to get Homestead Miami before we get GTA 6 allegedly. Aloha BB. I think they need to get rid of the car tomorrow and start racing cars built like the Xfinity Series cars, says Dennis Gillespie. I think that's a fair question or a fair statement to make. Maybe take whatever's working with this car and then try to find whatever's working for that Xfinity Series car on the other tracks, and just find a happy medium, because this car is modular, so you can take the front and basically rear of it off for different tracks. And I know that would be more cost, but if you can only have 7 pieces, there's only so much cost that it's going to be at the end of the day. Maybe you go to a modular system where for short tracks it's more like a Xfinity Series car. For road courses, it's more like an Xfinity Series car. For mile and a half, you go to the current design that it is. I think that is something that they could take a look at. That would be something that could possibly work for sure. Pelot will dominate the Indy road course race 4:30 on Fox, calling it here now, says Lanes. Trackhouse has fell back down to earth and is becoming a carbon copy of Ganassi. So there you go. Napa Racing fans saying that they're circling back down to being Ganassi-like once again. Homestead is definitely will be an advantage for Reddick and Larson, but it does take away the opportunity for using that race to get the championship 4 like Reddick did this past year. Yeah, that's for sure. It's definitely going to change things up as far as that goes. So you're going to have to. Those drivers are still, like Larson and Reddick, are still going to have to get to the Final Four, right? So that's something that they'll have to focus on as well. No easy task. Easier said than done. IndyCar is Alex Below series right now, says Napa Race fan. Who saw a trailer 2 for GTA 6, says NASCAR fan. That's a good question. I think a lot of people saw it. I'm pretty confident that a lot of people saw that for sure. BB just turned into Pat McAfee, allegedly, says in between the lanes. Hey, BB, if Atlanta got the finale, would you go? Would it be a business or personal? If Atlanta got the finale, I would think about going for sure. But it's always, I don't know, it's always hard to do coverage while you're watching the race, because you miss so much of what the most people are going to see it from TV. So it's hard to do it from that perspective. So I try to limit my travel as much as I can, but it would definitely be on the thought process, because it's not super far away. Justin Mark said that Ross was 22nd in overall speed, despite finishing second. I don't know if this is true, but Marks also said that Ross was number 1 in restarts this season, and that's been saving him, says Dirty Def. So there you go. Like I said, Ross Chastain and Joey Logano, both 2 of the best restart guys in the business, and they proved it this week here. So doing what they do best. Some guys are really good at long run. You can throw Blaney and Reddick into that for sure. I think certainly you can actually throw Kyle Larson into that as well. Some guys are better at restarts, and certainly Joey Logano, a restart guy, and Ross Chastain, definitely a restart guy. If the playoffs were here to stay, which I don't see them going anywhere, it would be nice if they made the final round 3 races. I agree with you on that. The final race should not determine a whole championship. Homestead, Phoenix, and Vegas rotate the finale between them, says Jesse Daly. Yeah, I agree with that. I would like to see at least 3. I would like to see the whole final 10 be the championship, but that's just me. Homestead in 2026, an even year like 2018, just saying, sliced bread, says Jamie Schweitzer. What do you think of the back-to-back, the future bit with Back to the Future bit with Brad K and KFB? I thought it was pretty funny, and seems like they may have finally buried the hatchet. It looks like it. Hopefully all that's over with. And it was surprising to see those 2 in the commercial together, but it looks like it's over with. Shout out to Back to the Future, says Lanes. The 40th birthday montage was very JGR heavy. You see anything into that? I don't know. I never really thought about it, so maybe it was. I have to go back and watch it, but I'm not reading too much into that. for sure. But I do like a good conspiracy. So put on your tinfoil hat for sure. I say Kyle saying real Floridians remember when John Morgan got pulled over for a DUI, asked the cops if he knows who he is, and then headbutted the cop. True story, Morgan and Morgan. So Morgan and Morgan represented themselves on that day, I reckon. Thoughts on Kansas coming up? Kansas is it's pretty similar to a lot of other mile and a halves. What are the Denny Hamlin has the best average finish there. Kyle at 3.7. Kyle Larson in the last 6 races. Kyle Larson at 7.2. Alex Bowman at only 5 races because he missed one of them, also at 7.2. Ross Chastain at 8.7. So those are going to be your best average finishes there. So I would imagine they're going to be some of the big favorites there at that particular race. And it should be a pretty good race. Kansas, a great facility from all the people. I haven't attended it, but all the people that have attended it said it's another place you need to go to because it's a great place to watch a race. I hated the race at Texas. SMI absolutely ruined the track by flattening 1 and 2. The wreck fest at the end didn't help, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, it was definitely polarizing. I think on TV the cautions saved it, but I don't know exactly if the drivers like the track because it's just so sketchy going over the bumps now. It doesn't seem to have a lot of grip. Well, Casey Kane race again this season in Xfinity. Seems like all the fanfare he got at Rockingham would be interesting for sponsors, says Dirty Duff. Yeah, I think he seems open to it in the Xfinity series for sure. I think he's happy to be back as far as that goes for sure. NASCAR won't nominate Atlanta because it's super speedway. That's probably a fair point. I'm with you, BB. Corey Heim is my Truck Series champion. Give me the silencer. C-Bell for Cup. Not sure about Xfinity. Yeah, Xfinity is anybody's guess, but I'll go with Allgaier because he's looking pretty stout this far this season. Best thing I saw this weekend. Bell's a good pick for Cup too. Best thing I saw this weekend was F1 drivers and Lego cars trying to race at 10 miles an hour, bumping into each other off the track, having so much fun. That was really cool. Cool deal from Lego there. Really cool cars too. What's up, Shy? Good to see you on here, my friend. Indy 500 in a couple weeks. Yep, a couple weeks. Kyle Larson does the double. Hopefully he can get it in this time. Will the weather cooperate? We don't know. Spire may not always get the results, but they have easily been the second fastest Chevy team behind Hendrick. Hocevar had great speed at Texas, and McDowell nearly won, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, it was the finish was definitely good. I think there was parts of it that people didn't like. Unfortunately for McDowell, he had another memorable crash at Texas. Just glad he escaped and got out. Yeah, for sure. He was going for it. I respect him going for it. He could have definitely settled for a top 5, but he went for it, and I'll always respect that. Michael McDowell, one of the hardest racers out there. Do you think Ross sees how fast Spire is right now? And since Trackhouse is key partner with Chevy, he made those comments out of frustration because they seem to be much slower. It could be anything. He usually doesn't make comments like that, so I think he's trying to affect some change somewhere. It did seem political as far as that goes, but who he was trying to influence, I don't know. Trackhouse losing upper management and owners is the problem. I think they got bought out and now are just corporate run, says Shab. That could be it. Could be it. We don't know. It could be that they're going to another manufacturer and they don't have Chevrolet support. Could be anything. Could be anything. Brickyard Brickhead saying Wheel of Fortune for the final race, maybe with three races left. So he just wants to just pick a track. And that's where you're going to be racing at. I believe Busch is noticing Spire speed and may want out of RCR. Only problem is McDowell signed for 3 years. Hocevar has been the fastest. Haley has improved. Who could they ditch for Busch? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where Kyle Busch would go if he leaves RCR. But certainly a lot of people think he is leaving. I just don't know where those people think he's going. Who would you move? I've heard a lot of people say 2311. Who would you move at 2311? The one place I could maybe see him going is if Legacy doesn't take Corey Heim. But I'm thinking Legacy's taking Corey Heim. I think that's what they're trying to get the extra charter for. Maybe he goes to Legacy, but is Legacy really an improvement over the RCR equipment? I don't know. I don't know at this point. So it's all kinds of theories out there. But I'm thinking he's going to stay at RCR, but that's just me. I feel long benefit stage 1 and 2. But if you want to win, you better be short run for stage 3 chaos for sure. For sure, Shaw. I like what you're thinking there. Curse Stage Racing says, Shaw, did you hear of Dale Jr.'s proposal for the playoffs? If so, what did you think? I'm all for his playoffs starting week 1 at Daytona. I mean, I am too. I just don't think it'll ever happen. I think NASCAR is locked into what they're doing right now. So it is what it is. I don't know, but it would make the entire season worth it. So Yeah, like start the playoff, and people start getting eliminated at the very beginning. How about all the races except the Daytona 5? I'm not super familiar with what he said, but I was like sort of in and out when he was talking about it. How about all the races except the Daytona 500 being a playoff race? Says Escobar. That would be interesting. Who doesn't love a good conspiracy theory? Says one wise guy. Indeed, JGR may regret ditching Bush. Ty was ready or near ready for Cup though. Says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where else. The Ty Dillon argument is sort of like the Austin Dillon argument, or I'm sorry, the Ty Gibbs argument is sort of like the Austin Dillon argument. Austin Dillon had won the championship in trucks. He had won the championship in Xfinity. Where else do you go with Austin Dillon if you don't go to Cup with him? Ty Gibbs had some insane winning rate in the Xfinity series. Is the champion? Where else do you go with Ty Gibbs if you don't go to Cup? So unfortunately, somebody at JGR had to go. So I guess in that situation, because at that time his sponsor was leaving too, it ended up being Kyle Busch. I don't think anybody really wanted to make that call, but that call was definitely the call that was made. And you had to get younger at some point. One of those veteran drivers had to go. Joe Gibbs never afraid to make the hard calls. He's done it all the way back to football. So not surprising, but not the most popular move for sure. Kansas has become my favorite track. Seems to be the most racy track in the series. Says Dirty Def. It always has. It always does seem to put on a good show. I do agree with you 100% there. I don't like Dale Jr.'s take on the current Texas. Keep it and leave it alone. No way. Says Napa Racing fan. Maybe I don't know. Maybe get rid of that bump. The one thing I would do is try to get rid of that bump that everybody was hitting and spinning out on. That's at least one adjustment that could be made. I'm thinking. Races really well on TV, says one wise guy. BB, who found more ways to lose a championship, Hamlin or Mark Martin? Says Jamie Schweitzer. Mark Martin fans are going to say Hamlin because Mark Martin had one that was taken away on a very questionable penalty. And so they're going to point to that one. So as far as that goes, they're probably going to go with Denny Hamlin on that one. Oh, that's a hard one, but Hamlin in time, says one wise guy. Chastain has definitely been way better than his equipment so far this season, says Napa Race fan. I agree 100%. Eminem wrecked after getting passed for second. It was a huge mistake, says Michael McDowell. Says Bones does. For sure. I'm sure he wanted that back. No doubt about it. BB wants either Scott Dixon, Scott McLaughlin, Kyle Larson, or Kyle Kirkwood to kiss the bricks and drink the milk back in my old Indiana home. Says in between the lanes. Indeed, that is the mighty triumvirate there, or the mighty quadrant, whatever, the mighty quad of IndyCar drivers there. NASCAR took a championship away from Martin, says Delmer Kaufman. There you go. There you go. Delmer is on it. Let's see. Bruce Garvey saying, I could see NASCAR having the finals at Las Vegas, then having the championship dinners the next week. Everyone could stay there, says Bruce Garvey. Yeah, that would. I feel like Las Vegas is a really good spot. I'm with you on that. Who's saying RCR won't gain speed like Spire did, says Bones. Yeah, I think RCR has had good speed. They had good speed this weekend. Unfortunately, Kyle Busch, another guy that went for it, and it didn't end up going his way. But he definitely would have had a top five, but he went for it, and I respect it. He was going for the win there. Brickyard Brickhead, I agree. I think beginning of the season, they spin a wheel, and whatever track it lands on is where it is held. Could be limited to weather good tracks. Yeah, they would have to definitely do it that way. RCR has been a lot. If they did it that way, it would have to be by tracks that have good weather in November. Napa Race fans saying RCR has been a lot better this season, but Busch doesn't have to settle for top fives and top tens. Texas proves that. He goes for wins at all costs. He does, and I like it. I like that. 2311 got Corey in the 32. Says Aaron Flynn. So there you go. Corey Heim in the 32 for at least one race coming up here. The Dillon brothers deserve credit. Ty has had good top 15 runs for college, for sure. Had a good run at Talladega, and something happened there and didn't get the finish he deserved. But he had a good finish this weekend for sure. Top 15, if I'm not mistaken. And Austin has had 3 straight top 10s. There you go. Austin Dillon making a move here from the cellar. He's in the mid 20s in points now. I did see that. Let's see. Dinger may actually make the playoffs on points this year with colleague, says Napa Race fan. For sure. Early on in the season, but the points are starting to tighten up. Let's see. Perhaps Ross figured if you complain about not being fast when you finish second, it doesn't sound quite as bad. Hey, that's a good point, Dirty Duff. taking a page out of Kyle Busch's book. You win the race, but then still complain about something because it wasn't exactly right. That will affect change. Russell Dominguez, let's freaking go, BB. What's up, Russell? Always good to see you on here. The popular theory among fans that I hear is that Busch goes 23-11 at the end of this season when his contract is up. Says M, that would be interesting. Who from 23-11 would you move on from though? That's a great question. I feel like Riley Herbst has a lot of sponsorship, and I feel like Bubba Wallace has a lot of sponsorship. So I don't know who you would move out there. Bubba Wallace is like 8th in points too, so I don't know. Is it a 1-year deal for Riley Herbst? That would be interesting though. It'll be interesting to see how that particular deal went down. Certainly Tyler Reddick is not going anywhere unless Tyler Reddick's going to Joe Gibbs Racing. It would have to be like something like Tyler Reddick is leaving to go somewhere else. So I don't know. That would have to be a fun. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying there would have to be, I feel like, a lot of moving pieces for that one to happen. But crazier things have certainly happened. That's for sure. I hate that bump at Texas too. Character to the track is one thing, but when it affects the race so much, drivers can only run over at a certain. They spin out is ridiculous as an Napa racing fan for sure. Having bumps in tracks baffles me. They want to put them in to run as fast as possible, then give them a less than perfect surface. I just don't get it, says Shaw, especially with this track, or I'm sorry, especially with this particular car. It is so sensitive to unloading on those bumps. It's, I don't know. Gives the track character. Well, I say F off, says Shaw. It's ironic how fans were asking SMI to stop running dirt at Bristol and ruining a great track. Now many prefer the dirt race right now, says Napa Race fan. It's the dichotomy of a race fan. They always want what they don't have, and a lot of us in certain situations. Give me speed, says Shaw. BB, does Kurt Busch get in the Hall of Fame on his first ballot? I don't know. He is a championship winning driver, but he's also had some off track stuff. So I don't know. Like I know in baseball that affects people. I don't know if that's going to affect people in the NASCAR Hall. It's always interesting who gets in and who doesn't. But he's a champion, so I feel like he should get in. But you never know. Joey said he was willing to wreck if McDowell didn't stop running him to the wall. He was like, they're both about to hit the wall if he doesn't check up. Not a Joey fan, but he's tough to beat if he's close, says Dirty Duff. Yeah. Joey wasn't going to. He's not one that's going to back down, and neither is Michael McDowell. I'm glad they both didn't wreck in that situation. I'm glad it played. I'm not glad that McDowell wrecked eventually, but I'm glad that those two didn't wreck right there. But it was a great battle. Michael McDowell doing everything he could to try to hang on and win that race on 2 tires. It was a cool moment for sure, but unfortunately he later wrecked. Trying to do it throughout the field, basically trying to get as good a finish as he could get remaining at the end of that one. Why does Joey always win the dumb races? When stupid things happen, like 5 overtimes at Nashville last year, wrecks at Texas, etc. I don't know. It's just he's really good at restarts. Is probably the best answer to that. So if you give a bunch of restarts, he's gonna get a lot of positions because he is pretty much the king of restarts. I would say him and Ross Chastain are probably 2 of the best I've ever seen at restarting, for sure. Hoping to see Newgarden win 3 in a row at Indy. May never be broken again, says Brickyard. For sure. Truck race is Saturday night, says in between the lanes. All right, truck race action is going to be good from Kansas there. Do you think repaving only the upper grooves would add some extra lines to run at Texas, says Herbie? Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question because they widened it out, but it's still flat down there. I think the only way to really add another groove there would be to get rid of that bump. Because if you get rid of that bump, then people could start using the high side over there. So getting rid of the bump would probably be the best move as far as that goes. Hamlin said on his podcast, explained the new car really well. It's like a boat. The nose is up and the butt is down. If you hit rough stuff, the rear just bottoms out, says Shaw. So there you go. That's what's happening. The rear is unloading because of the way they have to set this car up. And I'm imagining that's because of the plates there at the bottom so that I don't know why the plates, I guess to save the underbody, those plates right there are making it sort of hard to make things work there. I like Bristol Dirt Race. It would certainly put on a better product than current Bristol. Unfortunately, went from the best track in Gen 6 to the worst track or one of them in Gen 7. Yeah, NASCAR is going to have to do something with this car eventually on short tracks. The fans have kind of had enough of it for sure. Other than 1.5 miles, this car is not running good at any other track. Blaney has to run the best for Penske this year. He's the last Penske driver to win, even including the Wood brothers, says Napa Racing fan. Okay, yeah, for sure. I got you. I got what you're saying now. He's the only Penske associated driver that doesn't have a win this season. So I guess he is up next on the queue. Napa Race fan. Napa Racing Joey wins those races because he loves to capitalize. Says Jamie Schweitzer. Kind of like the grip strip at Pocono. Says Herbie. Remember when Joey came into the series? They called him sliced bread. I think he has lived up to that expectation and hype. Took him several years to grow in the series, but he certainly has it. Says him, yeah, I agree with you. I think he came in with more hype than probably anybody we've seen since Jeff Gordon, and maybe now Connor Zilic. I feel like Connor Zilic has got that same level of hype behind him, but it took him a couple of years to get it right, and he came in an era where guys were not as friendly as they are now, and he was basically getting bullied on the racetrack, and he finally decided to stick up for himself. And that definitely stuck with him from there. He's become, from getting bullied, he's become one of the most aggressive drivers out there. And it certainly affected him as far as his personality at the racetrack now and stuff like that. You see him being really great off track, all kinds of helpful organizations and stuff like that. But on the track, he's one of the toughest competitors you're going to see out there. And he makes no apologies and takes no prisoners. Pulls no punches. He does really well on restarts, I will say, says Napa Race fan. I'm not a fan of Joey, but he is one of the greats. Adds M as well. For sure. You can't, whether you like Joey Logano or not, same thing with Denny Hamlin. You can't take away from the fact that they are great race car drivers. That is set in stone for sure. Blaney could have easily won like 5 races this year already on long run speed and dumb stuff not happening. Yeah, I forget what race it was when the engine let go, but he definitely had the fastest car. Napa Racer fan, being a Blaney fan is very frustrating at times. Could be way worse though, says Jesse Daly. Yeah, you at least got a championship. Some fan bases don't have that just yet. I haven't checked fantasy this week. Were you able to move up in the standings? I think I'm like third or fourth. I don't know. I hadn't looked at it either. To be honest with you, let's see. The car is too low. A flat. The car is too low. A flat needs a tow, says Perry. Yeah, that's unfortunate for sure. BB, you're going to be in Charlotte on the 20th. I have an extra ticket to the 3rd annual Joey Logano Foundation charity concert. If you want to check it out, says Jamie Schweitzer. I don't know exactly what my schedule is going to look like. I don't know if we've got a late model race or what. But let me look into that. I'll check with Craig after this and see what's going on. I like Blaney too. I hate to see him constantly lose races in the dumbest ways possible. Reminds me of Dale Jr. fan. Anything that could go wrong would go wrong, unfortunately, says Napa. Good call, Napa. He's had a string of bad luck, but he does get wins here and there. Like when he finishes, he's always in contention. So it's been that type of year for Blaney for sure. Logano was also very young when he started Cup, says Shaw, for sure. He was only 18, perhaps one of the youngest at the time. BB, let's take a poll of whose hairpiece is better, Logano or Frankie Muniz, Malcolm in the middle. There you go. I'm not going to pick on anybody for that. They're doing what they feel like is best for that situation. So it is what it is. Phoenix and Homestead says in between the lanes, but they both are sponsored by the same hair product company. Phoenix and Homestead says in between the lanes. Yeah, Phoenix and Homestead on the rotation. Who else gets added to that rotation is going to be interesting. Blaney's engine let go at Homestead, Miami, and Phoenix. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Got you now. So that's where the 2 engines let go for the Penske man. Hamlin's engine blow up is one of the best I've seen. That was beautiful and ugly, says Shaw. On the build your own NASCAR team, Reddick was a tier above Logano. I know Joey gets a lot of hate, but he's definitely tier 1. Yeah, that was an interesting call as well. I thought that was. I'm with you on that. It was interesting that they put him in that particular order. Blaney should have won Darlington, but Larson and his pit crew said no to that. Said Napa Racing fan. Yeah, Larson's pit crew got him out there first, and that was all she wrote, unfortunately for Blaney. And then Larson couldn't get the restarts figured out either. Shout out to Frankie Muniz. Says in between the lanes. Did you see the interview with Harvick and Mike Joy? What are your thoughts on Joy's comments of NASCAR not reaching the next generation of fans? That's a great question, man. I don't know what they can do to reach them at the end of the day. So other than just keep doing the right things, like maybe make the sport have more substance and stop doing all the gimmicks. I think that would help overall. Because then it's just a more tangible thing. You don't have all these gimmicks. It's not like a circus or anything like that. So I feel like that's the most important thing they could do overall. But that's just me. That's just me. Bowman could have run for the win, but his pit crew let him down. Then they got involved in a dumb wreck. Says Napa Racing fan. The worst moment at Texas this weekend was Wright taking out Algar out of the race because he couldn't choose a lane. Says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, for sure. Right in best hairpiece, Pete Pistone. I'm making fun of him because he talks about it on the morning show all the time. Says Dirty Deaf. So there you go. Pete Pistone, I guess, is joining that particular conversation. NASCAR needs to market their drivers and their races, advertise your races on more platforms than just the channel or race on your social media pages. And that just depends on the track. That's track to track and week to week. So that's maybe that's something they can look at. I know Phoenix did a great job when I was out there. Talladega was basically super packed the entire time for both events that I was there for that. With sponsors like Fifth Third Bank, there's no wonder why there's not a younger fan base bringing in comic books and M&Ms and Reese's, says Chris Villegas. So yeah, maybe the sponsors factor into it as well. That's certainly an angle for sure. Wasn't Larson the last first-time champion, says Jamie Schweitzer. Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking Ryan Blaney is the last first-time champion, but that has I'm thinking drivers have to have personality. They just need to show it more like all of HMS, mostly Elliott, says Napa Racing fan. Blaney was the last first-time champ, says Napa. So yeah, more personality, like more drivers having I don't know, podcasts or just ways that people can see them other than just on TV at the racetrack that day. I think that could certainly help for sure. But it's just it's a tough call as far as that stuff goes. Catch y'all on the flip side, says one wise guy. And before we go, let me check the fantasy here if we can see it. Let's see. I am right now in third. Catskill Mountain Racing is leading in fantasy. Enzo is second. Wise Guys in fourth. Kevin 27 fifth. Zachary Mungro sixth. FHH is in seventh. Dirty Deaf is in eighth. Shaw is in ninth. And Chicken Nuts now in 10th place. So there you go. There's your top 10 in fantasy. It looks like we've reached the end. Oh no, here's some more here. Blaney was yes, as Jimmy Schweitzer. Maybe more drivers can do a back to Homestead bit, like, or Back to the Future Homestead bit, like KFB and Brad did, says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, like I think commercials like that certainly would help. Without on track practice days, it's hard to bring younger fans to the track. Yeah, for sure. There used to be many free events you could still see back in the day. Now, with fewer practice days, those don't exist anymore. And NASCAR is not in town all week anymore. That was a big part of the sport too that they're not factoring in. NASCAR was in town all week, so there was all kinds of events where you could see the drivers and teams and the show cars all week back in the day. Still P1 in fantasy, says Jesse Daly. Peace BB, says Jamie Schweitzer. Here's how you get more younger fans with this slogan, NASCAR. We don't just turn left, even on ovals, says Napa Racing fan. So Napa Racing fan has his campaign to bring younger fans to the track. That's going to do it for this one. I'm going to check you guys on. Hey, BB, been trying for 20 years. For those new fans, I'll laugh if Joey wins in 2026, since everyone says it's because of Phoenix, says Jimmy Howard. That would be pretty. That would be an exclamation point if you're a Joey Logano or Joey Logano fan. What driver today is the face of NASCAR, like Earnhardt was, Gordon was, Busch could be? I think he could start winning occasionally, says Ron Russell. Yeah, there's another aspect of it too. The guys that are the most popular are not the most outspoken. Like Dale Sr., he was the most outspoken. He was the most popular. It worked out for him. Richard Petty, the same thing with him. He grew the sport. Jeff Gordon was able to grow the sport in the same way. He was really outspoken. You knew everything about him. But then you got to Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson was very closed off. He was the biggest name in the sport at the time, so it didn't grow. But you were able to at least get that Dale Jr. bump. So Dale Jr. was able to keep it going. Even though he didn't win championships, he was the most popular, most well-known driver. Who do we have out there now that can do that? Can Kyle Larson go out there and reach those fans? Can Ryan Blaney be a guy that goes out there and reach those fans? Chase Elliott seems to be in the Jimmy Johnson mold where he's very closed off. He's not going to go out there and talk to people. So it's going to have to be somebody else that goes out there, maybe a Noah Gragson or somebody like that, that goes out there and gets those fans. But that's the way it's going to be. We need movies like Days of Thunder for the new generation or the younger generation, says MGM. That would definitely help too. All right. That's going to do it for this one. For real this time. Jamie Schweitzer says, hopefully no rain in Kansas. I'll second that. Napa, Delmar, and Jesse, and Wise, peace. And until the next one, take them easy.